All right. Here we go. Welcome to PTZ Optics Live. Today we're looking at the brand new Gen 4 PTZ Optics IP joystick. Very excited to demonstrate this joystick for you and talk a little bit about the features in this awesome PowerPoint presentation we've got going on. All right, so let's get started. So this is a smart acquisition for any production for multiple reasons. One, it's power over Ethernet. Two, it supports both IP and serial connected cameras, not just from PTZ Optics, but others as well, including Sony and NewTek cameras, along with Bird Dog as well. So it supports a wide variety of cameras. And it's just a really great joystick. We're going to show it off today, and we're going to answer all of your questions. No matter what the production setup is, you can likely use this joystick with the PTZ cameras that you have. We have an enhanced setup, and we've really listened to our customers when it comes to the buttons and the management of those buttons and what we've been doing with them. So very excited about that to demonstrate it. In fact, I'm going to give you some live demonstrations today to look at this new button layout that we have. Got the joystick right in front of me, and I'm going to actually show this off in full setup. I'm going to slow down our camera slider, which I think is taking up a little bit, going a little too fast here because I wanted to show that as well. And I think it's just going a little too fast today. But this is the joystick here. And just to show you kind of the way that this joystick's been set up, we've got 6 cameras with hotkeys right at the top. We've got a lot of the fine tuning up in the top right here. So everything you'd need, and we're going to use all of these to adjust your pan tilt zoom speeds, iris speeds, shutter speeds, red and blue, and then focus. This is a really good one we're going to show. These two are just really important. Our one push autofocus button to really get quick. We've also got a very nice knob here for slow zooms, which I'm going to demonstrate in a moment. The ability to do not just network cameras, but also serial connected cameras. So I've got a serial connected camera here as well to show off today. And then obviously all of your preset setup. So we're going to look at all of these buttons today and give everything a good look. The other thing we're going to talk about today is the toggle for PTZ speeds. This is one of my favorite features here. I hope you guys can see this. As we toggle through, this one single small space can do pan, tilt, and zoom speeds for the camera you're connected to. So we're going to show off how slow the joystick can control cameras, how quickly you can zoom, pan, tilt, and zoom, and adjusting all of these great parameters for whichever PTZ camera you're connected to. Now, you may know that we have multiple joysticks here at PTZ Optics. There's the serial joystick, which is the kind of the starter joystick, the Gen 4 IP joystick, and then the Super Joy, which we just released recently. So at the end of this webinar, we're going to be obviously doing Q&A, but also going to be comparing the Super Joy with the Gen 4 joystick that's now available. So why don't we go ahead and jump right in to the live demo, and you guys go ahead and drive the conversation. So if you want to see something particular, just let me know and we'll jump right in. That looks really good, Mike, doesn't that? Look at that. Boom. This joystick's compatible with most PTZ cameras using either a serial or an IP protocol. We've got an expanded LCD screen with a wide range of knobs for fine tuning. And everyone was asking for the knobs. We've got the knobs. The Gen 3 did not have any knobs on the joystick. We also can control white balance, red and blue gain, shutter speed, iris, all through those awesome little knobs there. We can fine tune the focus, and that's something I'm going to be looking at with you guys today and demonstrating live. We can lock and unlock the focus, and that is really cool because when you lock the focus, you can do some really beautiful bokeh effects, and we're going to show that today. Pan tilting and zooming. And it's backed by the PTZ Optics 2-year warranty and the support team from PTZ Optics who will walk you through any questions that you have that might come up. So first of all, this production that we've got set up here is connected to 2 cameras. And so I don't know if we can show these cameras in front of me, Mike. Even with the 30X might be a good idea. In fact, I'll show the 30X today to show you the example. Okay, so this camera is network connected, okay? It's connected over Ethernet. This is our NDI camera. Okay, so that's going to be this camera on this side. This camera over here is connected via serial. Mike, it's moving too much. All right, here we go. This camera here is connected via serial. So this is a serial connection, and the other camera is an IP connection. So I'm going to just really quickly show you guys controlling both of these cameras. So Mike, I know we're going to be prepared for this. I need to see both cameras in front of me to show this off really quickly, just because I want to show, just on this table here in front of me, controlling both the network camera and the serial connected camera. So basically, this joystick right here has a button on it. And when you hold the button down, it will switch between network control and serial control. Now, that's not a big deal for a lot of people, but for some people that have a network controllable camera, you can see here, there we go, perfect shot, Mike. I'm controlling this camera at a very slow speed. So I'm going to turn this speed up a little bit. We were doing some testing on some slow speeds there. Let's turn the speed up. That's a serial connected camera, which you can daisy chain multiple cameras together without the need for a network. And then I'm going to hold this button down here. Boom, perfect, Mike. And now I'm controlling a network connected camera. So very cool stuff, the ability to connect multiple different types of cameras. That's why this joystick really ups our game. It doesn't have NDI control like the SuperJoy does. Okay, the SuperJoy's got a few things that we'll talk about that the Gen 4 does not, but the Gen 4 is it's more of our workhorse, and it's a lot more affordable. It's got a lot of great features I want to show you guys today. So first of all, I'm going to show you the video off of an NDI camera. It's connected over our network. It's got a single Ethernet connection to our network, and I'm going to show you the video from the NDI camera, and I'm going to control the camera from the joystick so that way you guys can see the control capabilities. Now, while I'm doing this, feel free to ask questions. We're here. Lindsay is here to kind of be a voice in my ear to let me know your questions. And Mike's going to show a picture-in-picture shot with the camera I'm controlling and the joystick we have here. Boom. Okay, now there's audio coming from the camera, so just make sure to mute that when you get a chance. Yeah, the NDI feed has some fuzz coming in. Just mute that. Turn the volume down on the very last input on the audio mixer. There you go. All right, so this is the camera that I'm controlling. And we've actually got a little object that we can follow here. The first thing I want to do is show you the fine-tuning of the focus. So what I want to do here is just go through the focus, and you can see I'm able to really fine-tune the focus to get it just right. So that, Mike's telling me to go a little more. There we go. Do we got it? A little more? Okay, there we go. So you can do some really awesome stuff with focus. Now, when you're doing focus, remember to turn on and off autofocus. So if autofocus is on, then it's going to automatically focus. If we want to manually focus something like we're doing now, we got to turn it into manual focus mode. So there we go. It allows you to kind of click in. I'll kind of blur it out here and focus on the back, and now we're focused on the front there. So there we go. Perfect. So that's how focus can work with manual focus, or again, we can just click this button and go boom, right back to autofocus and allow the camera to focus itself. Now, the next thing I wanted to show was the pan, tilt, zoom speeds. So right now, when we are looking through this, you can just toggle through and say, okay, what's my tilt speed here? Okay, so my tilt speed right now is 20. That's as fast as we can go. Now, it does go slowly when you move it slowly, and then it goes faster when you move it faster, right? There's Mike over there. He's having a great day today. We've had some production issues, but we're doing all right. Now, let's say we want to basically cap the speed. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to manual focus because it's a tricky focus spot, and I'm going to focus that in. There we go. Got it. All right. I'm going to leave it on manual focus for this part of my thing. And this is a great example, right? Sometimes you just need to lock in that manual focus and you don't want to worry about autofocus. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the tilt speed down. I'm going to turn it all the way down to as slow as it's going to go. And what that does is it creates a cap, right? So no matter how far I go, oh, you know what? I'm panning. I'm not tilting. I got to turn the pan speed down. Sorry, guys. There we go. Sometimes tilt is up and down, right? Pan is left and right. Sometimes I get those confused, even me. So there we go. That's a slow, very slow pan tilt. Okay. So we've got slow pan tilts, fast pan tilts. And as we go up in our tilt speed, right? So if we go to, sorry, let's do a pan speed here. We turn it up, the joystick becomes a little bit more usable in the sense that it'll go faster at maximum speed, but slower at a lower pressure sensitivity. By the way, thank you everyone joining over there on Zoom. I'm going to zoom in on the Zoom meeting. Got to turn autofocus back on in order to get the camera to focus there. So you kind of got to, if you're going to use manual focus, you got to know what you're doing. You got to be ready to turn autofocus back on if you end up needing it. And that's one of the great things about the camera, the joystick. Now, the other thing here with zoom speed is I'm going to turn the zoom speed down. I'm going to show you how slowly we can zoom, especially with this new fine-tuned zoom dial here. So we go really slow here, the ability to zoom in nice and slow. And there we are. And that's our camera tracker. Now, the next thing I'd like to show is the presets. So this is the preset area. Now, if I hit preset 1, I've already got a preset set up over here. That's preset 1. And then I'm going to just go ahead and set it, just move it over a little more. And we'll call that preset 1. And it's very easy to set a preset. You hold the button down and boom, it tells you that is set the preset. Now I have a second preset over here. I've moved the camera a little bit since then, so I'm going to zoom it back in over here. You can see each of our cameras has a little label on it that shows the IP address just for reference. I'm going to set preset 2 here. And let's go to preset 3. I want that to go to the slider. I picked the camera up and moved it a little bit. Boom, set it for preset 3. Now if we cycle through those, we've got preset 1, preset 2, and preset 3. Now, the next thing I want to show is, well, what if we want the speed between the presets to be a little slower? We want it to be a little bit more cinematic. Well, we'll go ahead and open the OSD menu. You can do this remotely. And what we're going to do is we're going to go down to PTZ controls. That fuzz came back on, by the way. If you lower the volume in the volume slider, it won't do that. And what we're going to do is, so we're going to go down here to call preset speed, and we're going to turn that down. That's the speed at which the presets, the camera moves in between presets. So now I'm going to hit get out of there and go ahead and hit OSD off. And let me go ahead. Let's go back to that. Oh, this shot's fine. And I'm going to call different presets now. So it's a little slower. See that? So it's going to call presets in a much slower speed than it was before. Now that's pretty darn slow. I think unless you're doing something with a little bit more zoom, like if it was further zoomed out, I feel like that speed would actually be kind of good. But when you're zoomed in a lot, you kind of want it to be different. So let's set 2 more presets here. I'm going to set a 5 over here. And then I'm going to set a 6 on the other side, and we're going to see how that looks. Let's go over here, set a 6. Okay, 5. So when you're in these wider shots, it's nice to have a nice, slow, sweeping shot. But when you're getting into more tight scenarios, you may want to have this set up to be a little faster, which is what I'm going to turn this to about 12. There we go. Perfect. Now there's another feature that many people don't know about yet, which is in the setup, and this is called motion sync, which we do have on. And when motion sync is on, the camera will pan, tilt, and zoom at the exact same time. Looks like somebody wants to enter the Zoom meeting, so I'm going to let them in. And not only will it pan, tilt, and zoom at the same time, it will triangulate the pan, tilt, zoom so that it will do its best to finish the pan, tilt, and zooms at the same time, which is nice. So let's go ahead and close that. Okay. And let's go ahead and call those presets again. So now presets moving a little faster. So you can kind of tweak how quickly you want the camera to move between presets. Let's see if we can get it to pan, tilt, and zoom at the same time. Boop. Here, this one will pan, tilt, and zoom. There we go. Pan, tilting, and zooming. And what it's trying to do is finish the pan, the tilt, and the zoom all at the same time. That was a big request from our customers. So with that being said, I know, Lindsay, you're here. You've got your eye on the YouTube. You've got your eye on the Facebook chat and everything. There's still a few things I want to show off. But if you want to chime in with any questions, feel free. And I'm happy to answer them as I do this demo. Does that sound good? I can't hear Lindsay. Can you hear her? Do you possibly have her mute, the audio from Zoom muted? Yep. It's got to be, click that on. Okay, sorry, Lindsay, we can hear you now.
Alrighty. Got a question here that says, can you reverse the joystick controls, such as pulling the joystick handle back and have the camera tilt up?
Is that a live demonstration request?
Maybe.
Okay. So read it to me one more time. I'm going to try to do it.
Can you reverse the joystick controls, such as pulling the joystick handle back and have the camera tilt up?
Okay. Yes, I believe so. And that takes me to my next part of the presentation, which is the IP login opportunity. Look at that, Mike, using the presets, getting it good. All right, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to zoom in. Getting it good, Mike. I'm going to log into this joystick, and we know that your time is important. And the Gen 3 IP joystick took some time to set up because it had to be done via the keyboard, which you can still set the keyboard up. But I want to show this. This is the joystick IP interface. For one thing, you can just go in here, set whether you want it to be VISCA or Sony or OnVIF, set the IP address in the port, and you're good to go. Now, you can also set the protocol for your analog cameras. So whether it's VISCA, Pelco D, or Pelco P, and the baud rate, you can set all of that up. And we've already demonstrated connecting to this exact IP camera. This is an NDI camera and an analog camera. So it's that simple. And you can set up 7 cameras right here. You can even do a batch edit if you so choose. Now, there's a control tab here, which is really nice. This control tab is accessible via a smartphone. So you can actually copy the URL. I don't know if you guys saw it in the top right. You can copy that URL. You can text it to somebody, chat it to somebody, and then they, on your local area network, can control the different cameras that they might want to control. Now, matrix mode is, again, designed to be used on a smartphone. So you can take your oh, it's working now, Mike. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. I'm like, okay. Basically, you can use your smartphone here to control the cameras. And this is a simple way to control 3 cameras. So if you've got 3 presets, 3 cameras in one little matrix, you can control it. Now, getting to the question, Lindsay, sorry, it's taking me so long to get to there. But there's a reason why I went to here. This is the setup area. And you can see the joystick set up on DHCP. So as soon as you plug it in, it can be powered over Ethernet. So if you have an Ethernet connection to the joystick, you plug it in, the joystick turns on, and it gets an IP address from your local area network if you have DHCP. If you don't, you would select a static IP address. Now, you can upgrade the camera as firmware updates come and you can restore to factory default if need be. But in the system settings, there is the ability to invert the tilt and invert the pan. I'm not going to do that because I don't like that. But if you do, you can feel free. And that's ideal if you like, your cameras are upside down. In fact, I am just trying to search my memory. I believe you can do this per camera as well. So yes, you can. So sometimes when you're mixing and matching cameras, like in our studio, we have a ceiling camera and we have cameras that are mounted upright and we have cameras that are mounted upside down. And so it depends on what this will do is this will invert every camera and every tilt and pan motion that you create. So just keep that in mind. Yes, you can do it, but it might be easier to just invert the camera controls that need to be inverted and not the entire joystick. So there we go, Lindsay. I think we answered that question.
Alrighty. And will this work on the Joy 3?
The inverting the controls?
I think that's what they're asking.
Oh man. I don't mean to be like, I don't know. I can't remember. I would imagine, I'm pretty sure, and I just can't remember how to do it, but I'm almost positive you can. Feel free to call our support team, pick up the phone number. They know for sure. I'm pretty darn sure you can, but I can't remember exactly how. Okay. This joystick is a lot nicer than the Gen 3. I will say that the Gen 4 is looking, is much easier to use in a lot of different ways.
Alrighty. And when saving the preset to the camera, will it save all shutter, iris, and all position and zoom information? No. It is just a pan tilt zoom preset. It does not save all of the shutter and all of that information. If that's possible, I would highly recommend to go into our forums and request that feature, because other people can +1 that feature and our engineers will build it in if that's something that you need. It also can be a confusing feature for folks who are using a joystick and didn't realize that somebody else set preset 1 to a different shutter speed. So the way the joystick is meant to be operated, and I can show this, is that right here with the iris, and this angle is a little messed up. Let me just see it. So this is the iris and the shutter speed. You can toggle between iris and shutter speed. If we go to the camera that I'm controlling, one of the things you have to remember when using this feature, Mike, if we cut to the side-by-side so we can see the camera I'm controlling, in the exposure mode, you will want to be on manual exposure, okay? Because if you're in auto exposure, these will not work. But if we go to shutter speed, for example, you can see the picture's getting lighter and darker because I'm changing the shutter speed. And the iris, you can see here, and it reports back the information, which is nice. Now, I'll just give it, and Lindsay, this might be new information for you too, but generally, you want to lock the shutter speed in at double the frame rate that you are either recording or streaming at. Okay? So if we go into the menu real quick and we go to the exposure and we go, oh, look, it's in manual mode. Okay, the shutter speed is at 1500. Well, that's way too fast. That's not going to look good, to be honest, because we would rather have that at like 1/60th of a second. That is much more natural for a looking video. And so lock the shutter speed in. Okay. Might want to lock the focus in too with this camera. Boop. Okay. Now I'm going to lock the focus right here. Wait, no, here it is. Boom. Lock the focus. Now, when we lock the focus, this is something I wanted to show, and we zoom out, look at that cool bokeh effect that we get. Isn't that kind of cool? So what you can do, this is just me just being kind of goofy here, but the focus is locked right there, okay? So let's say we set preset 8 is focus locked perfect.
We zoom out to this craziness, and we'll call that 9. Check this out. We go back to 8. Boom, it locks right into focus. I know a lot of our customers like to have the ability to have that like beautiful bokeh effect. And there it is. Just something interesting to think about. Sorry, Lindsay, go ahead.
You're good. Can it control UVC-based devices?
No, it cannot. It cannot control UVC devices. UVC devices is universal video codec. Those are USB connected devices. I'm glad someone asked that because our 100% free PTZOptics camera control app, which you can get on our website for either Mac or PC computers, does support UVC control. So if you need UVC control, maybe you should just use a Mac or a PC computer.
Does the SuperJoy?
No, it does not. But
okay, because someone wanted to know if it's better than the SuperJoy. But from what I understand, the SuperJoy is a little bit more technical than the Joy 4. Gen 4.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that was kind of going to be my final slide. And we're still here, guys, to answer questions and do live demonstrations. So let me know. I'll be happy to show you guys anything you need there. But let's talk about the SuperJoy versus the G4. So the SuperJoy allows you to mix and match serial and IP cameras. So if you have a bunch of IP cameras, but you got a couple older analog cameras, they can all be mixed and matched together. The PTZOy G4, which we showed today, it has to switch modes between serial or IP. So you have to hold that little button to switch. So that's just a small thing, but it's worth noting. The SuperJoy does a little bit better job in mixed environments where you need to have multiple different control protocols being used at the same time. The SuperJoy features NDI, which is really awesome. People really have been asking for NDI a lot, and so we built it into the SuperJoy, but we did not build it into the G4. Why? Because the G4 is really the workhorse, right? It's the economical model of the two, and NDI is a premium. The SuperJoy features an HDMI output. I love that feature in the SuperJoy because it allows you to view all the cameras that you want to control directly from the joystick without needing to have a different computer. So that's nice. And obviously the PTZOy does not have an HDMI output. The SuperJoy has custom buttons. There's 4 custom buttons on the SuperJoy, and those buttons can do almost anything that you need. So those custom buttons, well, anything you need. It won't make you coffee, but the custom buttons can do HTTP triggers. They can send TCP commands, so they can turn on vMix. They can start recording vMix. They could start live streaming OBS. There's a lot of things that it can do. The SuperJoy has illuminated buttons that are rubberized, and the PTZOy G4 has plastic buttons. The SuperJoy has dedicated speed adjustments for pan, tilt, and zoom, whereas you saw in the demonstration, for economically fitting everything in here, you have to toggle a single dial for the G4 unit to toggle between pan, tilt, and zoom. Now, the SuperJoy has camera groups. So if you've got a lot of different groups of cameras, or if you're going from one space to another space, the SuperJoy can quickly switch groups, and the PTZOy does not have the group feature. The SuperJoy has a pressure-sensitive dial for focus, which really takes the focus control to a new level. You guys saw the control knob for focus on the PTZOy today, and it's very good. It works. It's just not quite as high quality of a knob. So that is the comparison that I wanted to make sure. Now, the SuperJoy is, and I hope I don't get this wrong, it's $899, whereas the PTZOy G4, and Lindsay, I might need you to price check me on this. I believe it's $549 is the map, $604 is the MSRP. So that's the comparison that we wanted to do today. Hopefully we did a good job demonstrating this joystick. I want to thank everyone for taking the time today to do this, we're going to give away a free webcam. Wilmer would like coffee to be made. That would be a nice feature. Does the SuperJoy work with the NewTek PTZ cameras? Yes, it does. Both of these joysticks will work with the NewTek PTZ cameras. The SuperJoy will work via NDI, and the SuperJoy or the PTJoy G4 will work using the Sony protocol, which is what NewTek PTZ cameras use.
Also, Paul, you were right. The 604 MSRP.
Great. Okay. SuperJoy seems to be worth more. It says HD video. Is it better than the SuperJoy? I got my SuperJoy Monday, says Wilmer. No, don't worry. It's not better than the SuperJoy. The SuperJoy is a little bit better. Cameron's saying he just got, sorry, is that the one? Cameron says, I just got my PTZOptics camera for our house of worship and we love it. Great to hear. Now, somebody is going to win a free PTZOptics webcam today for tuning into this webinar. So if you have not already, really quickly go to ptzoptics.com/giveaway. There's only 8 people who signed up so far. So there's like a 1 in 10 chance that you could win a webcam that we're going to ship you. I'm going to pull a giveaway winner in just a minute here. So let's get our questions answered. And I'm going to pull a giveaway winner here for our show.
Here's one. Will this work with the older Sony EVI H100s cameras that use the 8-pin mini DIN?
Yes. Yes, it will. And Mike, let's go ahead and cut to this side camera over here if we've got it. That is something that's worth showing in more detail. So this is the PTZOptics camera connected via an 8-pin mini DIN connector. So first of all, I want to show it working real quick. What I'm doing here is I'm toggling it to serial control, and you can see I'm controlling this camera, okay, over serial. Now I'm going to unplug it just because we're done with this kind of. This is the 8-pin mini DIN connector here. So those are 8-pin mini DIN connectors are used with RS-232 to daisy chain controls in and out. So if I've got 2 cameras, right? Oh, you can't see that, sorry. You would daisy chain in and then out to the next one into the in port. You can do up to 7 cameras. You'll see on the back of the joystick controller, this is a DB9 to 8-pin mini DIN connector that we were using. And I'll just show the connector really quickly. This is that 8-pin mini DIN connector. So yes, it will work. And you can control IP cameras as well. So if you've already got one of the older Sony cameras that still uses analog serial controls, you can work with that. And then as you upgrade, when you get IP connected cameras, NDI cameras, you could use that as well. So thank you everybody for joining our giveaway. It looks like there are quite a few of you, 25 now. So we're going to pull a winner. You have to be here in the chat. Is this person here? Is Barry Richards here, my long lost brother-in-law? Just kidding. Barry Richards. Let me know if Barry Richards is here, Lindsay, because he just won himself a webcam that we're going to ship to him. We're doing a free webcam every webinar this year. Congratulations, Barry. I think that's all the time we have today, everybody, unless there's any more questions. Great.
Barry, are you here?
I think he's here. I think I saw him in the chat.
Okay.
We should be all good there. All right. Thank you, Lindsay, for manning the chat. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. I hope that was a good demonstration. Please enjoy your long weekend this weekend and have a great 4th of July.